Welcome to our course, Green Economy from China's Stories. In this section, we will learn about the 3R principles of circular economy. This figure offers complete information on 3R principles. First is reduce. We shall minimize the amount of material in production and consumption, reducing the usage of resources from the source, and reduce the amount of pollutants discharged. The second is reuse. We should use raw materials for multiple purposes, utilize energy in cascade manner, reuse reclaimed water, repair and reuse products, etc. The third is recycle. We shall recycle the items discarded at output end as renewable resources. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. These are the 3R principles we often mentioned. The most important principle in 3R principles is reduce. Reduce shall be our priority. By reducing input, we can avoid the production and recycling of wastes during production and at output. Next, we will dwell into reduce principle and discover its considerations. First, it aims at minimizing resource input. We shall minimize the input amount of natural resources when we consume resources at the input end. Second, we shall reduce at the resource input end by adopting cleaner production, rather than treating pollution at the output end. The now prominent cleaner production requires us to reduce the amount of resource input. Third, we shall minimize the exploitation and utilization of non-renewable resources. We shall rely less on resources like oil and coal. Fourth, we shall invest mainly in renewable resources as substitutes. We shall mainly use the many renewable resources available in our production. Fifth, we shall minimize the material cycle and energy cycle during production and consumption. In this course, we will introduce material flow analysis methods. We will analyze the material flow consumed by various economic activities and discuss how to reduce material flow from the source by using reduce principle to minimize consumption of natural resource and impact on environment. One of the key points of reduce principle is to control the total amount of wastes produced. In this slide, we can see how reduce principle can be applied in production. This figure depicts the production site of an enterprise. We can see that enterprises reduce the raw material, energy used, and waste emitted per product by adopting advanced manufacturing process or cleaner production. Products are also reduced in size and weight. We can also adopt reduce principle in consumption field. Here, we can see a mooncake packing box. Mooncakes are just food by its own, but when people give them away as gifts at Mid-Autumn Festival, they were packed in luxurious packages. Most are packed with paper or plastic, even silk. After we ate the mooncakes, their packing box will become wastes. The reduce principle requires us to switch our consumption method to green consumption by changing excessive packaging. We shall advocate people to adopt an environmental-friendly, high-quality lifestyle, which requires people to select lightly packed, durable, and recyclable goods. We can adopt reduce principle in our everyday life. The second is reuse principle. It has the following requirements. First, it requires us to maximize the utilization of wastes. Second, it requires us to adopt a process continuation method for consumer groups, consumers, in the middle of the industrial chain. Third, it requires us to maximize the methods and frequency of product usage to extend the lifespan of products and services. Fourth, it requires us to adopt precise division of labor and efficiency collaboration between different industry groups to facilitate the transformation period for product wastes. Last, it requires us to maximize the efficiency in using resource products through highly efficient operation of material flow and energy flow in economic system. These are the requirements of reuse principle. In this slide, I would like to introduce some cases of applying reuse principle. In this figure, we can see cloth shopping bag. A few years ago, China banned supermarkets from providing disposable plastic bags to consumers for free. By adopting this principle, we expect people to use these reusable shopping bags. In this way, we can reduce the plastic waste generated by the plastic bags we use for shopping every time. As the plastic problems are prominent now, a good way to apply the reuse principle is to use cloth bags instead of plastic bags. In the second figure, we can see a structure diagram of automobile. There are thousands of parts in an automobile. If all of them are standardized for automobile production, we can replace damaged parts easily. The capability of the product to be dismantled and reused shall be taken into consideration from the design stage. This will help us in reusing these parts. Now, China has already proposed several pilot enterprises for automobile parts remanufacturing. Jiangling Motors in Nanchang, Jiangxi, is involved in the remanufacturing of car engines. Thirdly, we can see from this figure that we shall be aware of the service value of product and prioritize the usage of function of product in development stage of the product. Today, when we tend to discard our products when they are still functioning, this is especially true for electronic products. This is because nowadays products are designed with a service life, which causes certain parts to automatically fail after a designated period. For example, mobile phone manufacturers may set their phones to slow down after 2 years of usage to prompt people to buy a new one. Maybe developed countries hope to stimulate consumptions to boost their economy, but we hope to extend the service life of many products as long as possible. Lastly, we'll talk about recycle principle. This is the principle that we should focus on at the output end. It has 4 requirements. First, it requires us to minimize waste emission and maximize resource utilization. Second, it requires people to utilize and recycle wastes multiple times. Third, it requires us to recycle resources at multiple stages and achieve a benign cycle in developing resources. Finally, it requires us to minimize the emission of pollutants. These are the requirements of recycling at the output end. Here are some cases. First of all, the figure above shows the recycling of waste paper. Cartons and papers are frequently marked with the recycling symbol to indicate that they are made of recycled paper, not wood pulp. This is what we called restoration recycling, a method that we use resources, renewable resources discarded by consumers, to manufacturing products of the same category, e.g., plastic or paper products. This is viable. Secondly, we would like to introduce degradation recycling, as certain wastes cannot be used to manufacture the same products. They are used to manufacture a lower tier product. The figure below shows the pavement during 2010 Shanghai World Expo. It was made by waste glass and waste residue. Due to the many impurities in glass, we cannot use it to produce glass products. Instead, we use it as paving materials. Restoration recycling cannot cover certain materials due to technical limitations. We cannot make tin cans with recycled tin cans because of their impurities. But they can be degraded to make doors or windows. China is currently working on technologies to enable restoration recycling for all resources and minimize degradation recycle to maximize the efficiency of resource utilization. Now, we may return to the question we had at the beginning: why the amount of refined lead produced worldwide is higher than the yield of lead mined. As you may see, by recycling waste leads and use them to produce refined lead, we reduce the amount of lead mined. This is an important method for us to adopt circular economy. The mining of other metals, including copper, aluminum, and zinc, can be reduced in the same manner. This concludes today's lesson. Thanks for watching.